Um, Here we go. Hi, everybody. This is Alison Proffit from Profit Coach. Welcome to Profit Talks. So much profit. Is there ever such a thing as too much?
Never.
Today, I'm joined by Amanda Kendall of Elevating Profit, and I am excited to talk a little bit with Amanda today about making money in our businesses and making money a less stressful thing for us in terms of how to manage it. And so, Amanda, I would love for you to just give us a little overview about you and how you came about launching Elevating Profits.
Yeah, so I have been in the tax and accounting world for over 17 years. I've owned several businesses during that time. One of my businesses, actually one I just sold last year, actually I hit this point in the business where revenue was amazing, but profits were the very opposite of amazing. Um, I went for 10 months without a paycheck, literally was facing bankruptcy in my business and was like, oh, something's got to give here. Like, this is not an option for me. And sat down and just kind of started looking at things in a different way than I ever had before. Being in the tax world, you kind of look at things historically. I started looking at them from more of a planning and projecting scenario and looking at, okay, what can I do to make things better rather than just hoping they're going to be better. And through that process, was talking to a lot of people. Once I came out of that, I improved my profits about 110% over the course of less than a year. In doing that, was talking to people and telling people what had happened in my story. And they're like, oh my gosh, I know so-and-so that needs this. And I know so-and-so that could use that. And I was like, oh, people need this. If this can happen to me, this has got to be happening to other people. And so through that, Elevating Profits was born, where I now work with business owners to intentionalize their profits and really be focused on all of the little pieces that they may not realize actually have a big impact on that bottom number.
That's awesome. Amanda and I connected. We're both in an organization called Weibo Network, and that's how we connected. I think I saw you speak at one of our events, and we spoke sometime back in December, but not really realizing how our paths would come together.
Yeah.
And as those of you that are watching may or may not know, I do sales coaching. And my business kind of evolved the same way. I was doing this marketing strategy work and helping people set up their marketing stuff. And I launched my business in October last year and started making sales right away. And people were like, how are you doing that? That's amazing. I was like, oh, people need to know how to make more sales. And I was like, this is a business. This is my business now. So, and then we connected because I was sharing that there was this thing that I came across where somebody was saying that sales is a bullshit number. And what really matters is profits. And I remember I was kind of venting to you a little bit about this because I was like, well, hold on, like I'm not a CPA, I'm not like a tax or finance accounting person, but I think you need sales to have revenue so that you can have profits. And you were like, oh, I love this topic. So I'd love for you to just let's talk about this topic here for just a few minutes and what your thoughts are on that and how people can maybe avoid taking some bad advice, like don't worry about your sales numbers.
Yes. So it's one of those things I kind of like to correlate to a king and queen. Like, they're both very, very important in their kingdom, but they each play very different roles. And so I like to say that revenue is the queen and profit is the king, because the queen drives everything. Like, the king can't make a decision without the queen.
That's right.
But the king ultimately has the final say. And so your revenue is like that driver. Like, you have to have the sales, you have to be bringing the numbers in. That is step number one. But once you have that revenue in, you have to have all of those little pieces that get you to the king's role of the profits, which are really what drive the business.
Yes.
So you can have revenue without profit, but you cannot have profit without revenue.
Yes. Drop the mic, people. Just drop it right now. So let's talk a little bit about, I'd love for you to share maybe 2 tips so we've just got announcements that like we're on the tail end of this stay-at-home order here in Colorado. Who knows, it's still going to be dripped out, but that's been the thing you've been focusing on, is helping people with the funding options and things like that. And it's time for the conversation to begin shifting. We need to get back into living and getting the economy back in order. And so I would love for you to share 2 tips on what you think people can be doing right now to help them get on track. If you can
So
narrow it down to 2.
yes, one instantly popped in my mind. So I think the first one, and this kind of goes with what everybody has been hearing for the last, 4 to 5 weeks, as everybody's been on stay-at-home orders and their businesses have either completely stopped or really shifted. And it's this word pivot, but I want to use it in a little bit of a different sense in our conversation today, in the sense that many businesses went from having their revenue being reliant on being in person and people walking into their doors or physically interacting with somebody. And many businesses have made a shift over the last month and a half that's allowed them to generate a revenue source that is not reliant on that. And so my first tip is multiple revenue sources. Many business owners I talk to, they're like, this is what I do. This is what I do. And I'm like, great. You do this and you do it great, but with just a little tweak, you have this and you have this. And now we have 3 revenue sources with minimal work to create them. So the first tip is to set your business up in a way that allows you to have multiple ways that revenue can come in, because God forbid we ever face anything like this again. I want everybody out there to know that you're going to survive it because you have a revenue source that is not reliant on you being out in the community or people being able to physically walk into your office. So that is tip number 1. And then tip number 2, which I think goes hand in hand with that and kind of what we've been talking about, is expense management.
Yeah.
You can have all the revenue in the world. I had multiple 6 figures of revenue and I was running at a loss. So you can have all the revenue in the world and still not have a profitable, successful business unless you manage that in-between stuff, which is the expenses. And so look at your frivolous spending. Look at the things that you may be spending, it may be $10 a month for a subscription, but you may have never used that subscription. So it's time to get rid of it. All those little coffee meetings that you're going out having, those can add up to thousands of dollars a year. So really look at the expenses, set a budget around those and follow those. Those would probably be my 2 best tips, not only for what we're dealing with, but just ongoing for businesses at all times.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the values I hang my hat on, is like running your business from a place of like lean expenses. And even when I worked at Constant Contact, the customers would call in and they'd be like, well, I have to get my Instagram and I'm paying a social media person this and I'm running these ads, and like, well, great. Like, you don't need to do all that. And really what you can do is you actually can make sales without spending all that money. Like, let's be honest, right? I mean,
It's the thing that nobody wants to do.
yeah.
It's the phone. It's picking up the phone, making the calls. You can do that, and you have to pay for your phone. So
that's right.
Use what you have before you spend money elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think that that's so important. And it's like, make the sales, pick up that phone. Don't rely on somebody going to a website and clicking on the thing. Like, build a relationship with them, because sales is all about know, like, and trust. And when you build that relationship, you're more likely to then have a repeat customer, and repeat customer, like your customer acquisition cost. We all know this. When you have repeat customers, it's like, that's a good number. Like, we should be looking at that number. So if you are spending a whole lot of money on like trying to get sales and doing stuff in the online space, pause, like reach out to Amanda or reach out to somebody like myself, and we can kind of figure out like, what might you be able to do differently that's not having you just pour money out before you're bringing the money in. Like, yes, I'm all about like outsource social media after you're making enough money to be able to outsource it and sustain that expense, so that at some point, if you can't afford that expense, then that whole part of your business doesn't just go away because you're not making sales. Like, let's build up a really great revenue kind of buffer and then cut down those expenses. So I love that. Amanda, I feel like I could just like talk to you forever and ever, but we should be out there making money instead of sitting here talking about profits. So Amanda, how can people get in touch with you or work with you right now as we're kind of pivoting into this new part of our life right now?
Yeah, so on my website, elevatingprofits.com, you can actually schedule directly from the website. You can reach me by email at consulting@elevatingprofits.com, or honestly on Facebook, just look me up, Amanda Kendall, send me a message so that I know why you're reaching out, and friend request me and we can connect that way.
Perfect, great. And Amanda is going to be participating in the Thrive 2020 NoCo Virtual Summit, which is happening the week of April 27th. It's a no-cost event. We have gathered about 20 different panelists from the Northern Colorado area to provide this virtual summit, full of all kinds of great information. Amanda's going to be featured on the first panel on Monday, the 27th. So we'll put all these links in the description below, or up there or over there, wherever it is on the screen you're watching. And we'll also include all of the ways that you can get in touch with Amanda here. Amanda, thank you so much. I know that we'll have collaborations in our future, but for right now, my name is Alison Proffit. That's Profit like making money, but with 2 F's, because more is better. And you can follow me at Profit Coach on Facebook and Instagram, or check out profitcoach.com. And I hope that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can continue to stay updated on the future episodes of Profit Talks. Thanks so much, Amanda. Have a great day.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.